Welcome back to Exploring Whiskies. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we are still trying to catch up on all our Whiskey Club meetings. So this would be from the meeting in October of 2021.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right, great. All right, so the theme of this one, it was totally blind with some kind of a guessing game.
Yep.
So they told you the 4 bottles that you were going to drink, and you had to try to figure out which one was which as you tasted them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. So it was totally blind, had no idea, but you did know the 4 different bottles, and I don't think anyone got all 4 right.
Nope. We're not that sophisticated.
No, not well. And if you don't have a reference, it's hard to just say, "Oh, well, that's definitely this," because I've never had it. So we're going to start off with one that, I don't think I've ever had this particular release. So this is the Calumet Single Rack Reserve Black 12-year. I think this is the black one, right? Yeah, black. Mm-hmm. Single Rack Black. Things we know about this is it's sourced from someplace in Bardstown. So probably either 1792 or actual Bardstown distilling. So it's sourced. They blend together 19 barrels, and those 19 barrels are always in a very specific, like the honey hole of that rickhouse.
It's like Buffalo Trace.
Very similar to Buffalo Trace. So it's always the same 19 barrels in this one, like middle of one rickhouse. Not sure what the total trick is there. It is 74% corn, 18% rye, 8% malted barley. So it's a little bit high.
The high rye makes me think it's Barton's.
But Barton's isn't that normally up like near 30? I thought Barton's was like 25 or 27%. So, yeah, thanks. Aw, the little nib didn't come off. Oh, speaking of these little bottles, these little sample bottles, really handy when you're want to do some trading with various people. These are 2-ounce bottles, and if you look down in our description below, you will see a link to our affiliate link for if you want to buy bulk ones. And trust me, you're going to want more than like 4 or 5.
Real.
All right.
Like 2 dozen.
That reminds me of something, but it's not the 1792 nose. Are you getting that?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting something else, but I can't place it at this moment. That's a big bummer. So there's a slight sweetness. There's definitely a rye herbally note in there. A little bit of pepper, like spice in there for the rye as well.
There's a little bit of rye burn, but then it gets sweet.
Really? Okay, good. Ooh, there's a lot of rye in that. Wow. That's a lot of rye burn. And oaky.
Yep.
So it is 12-year-old.
Yep.
So
it's picked up a little bit.
There's there's a lot of oak, and then it does kind of come to a finish that's sweeter. But
then it dries.
Yeah, then it kind of dries out a little bit. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a little roller coaster of a palate right there. Heavy rye spice, herbal and rye.
Yep.
Herbal and spice. Both sides of the rye is coming through. And then, a lot of wood notes. Then you get like the vanilla from the barrel.
Sure.
And then it, very dry. Yeah. All right, the rye wasn't quite as much of a punch on the second sip.
No, it wasn't as much punch, but now I got a little burn up in here.
Yeah, you went retro-nasal on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, then it just goes back to that sweet.
It's sweet,
like a vanilla,
woody, and dry.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing. For a 12-year-old bourbon, you would think a little bit more complex. It's a little shallow in its notes. Like it's very, topical or whatever. I don't even know what the right word is.
I feel like that's a misconception because we've had older stuff. And you think, oh, it's been there for 27 years. New. Yeah,
it's not necessarily great.
Nope.
Age, long time in a barrel doesn't necessarily make great whiskey. Case in point. 12 years for a bourbon is generally a really long time. Not quite hitting.
But even some of those older Dickels, it's hit or miss.
True.
On some of those.
The bottled and bonds are usually 11 to 13, and they're usually okay, but every once in a while you get like a 13 or 15-year-old Dickel that's like, it's still Dickel.
Yeah.
So
the funk.
Yeah, a lot of funk. So the proof on this is 94. So this is the lowest proof that we're going to do.
Okay.
I kind of set them up almost in proof basis, but we'll see. The price really ranges. I'm not sure why it's such a big range. I don't know if it's distribution or where, but I didn't buy these, so I didn't know what we paid for the club, but I can find it for anywhere from $55 to $80.
But they've also got, they had the original, wasn't black. I know
there was something else with that little
12. Because I remember meeting the guy at a whiskey festival.
Okay.
He was a local rep. Like when they first came out, it was really good. I think I actually went and bought a bottle like the next day because I thought it was really good. Mm-hmm. And he did give me his card, or he gave it to Tim. He's like, I'm coming out with a 13-year. He goes, it's going to knock your socks off. But then we never saw him again. Actually, I did see him again. He was peddling a different bourbon, Bird Dog.
Okay. Yeah,
So
my guess is they kind of float around a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's not an amazing nose. It's very...
This one I think would be interesting to line up because they've got, what, I think 4. No, 3.
Of the Calumet.
The Calumet lineup. It'd be interesting to line them up.
Oh, and then the whole history on the name. There is a long time farm that ended up, now they raise thoroughbreds at some point. So they had a huge raised thoroughbreds and it's called Calumet Farm. So that's what this is a nod to, is that actual...
neighborhood growing up, those Calumet farms.
Oh, really? Not a huge fan of the nose. The palate's okay. And the finish
It's not wowing me.
No, it's not wowing me for 50, anywhere, $55 to $80. Yeah.
$80, no way. Closer to 50, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, with the 12 years, I guess, but it's not really a flavor profile that I wouldn't buy another bottle. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Glad we tried it. I'm not going to buy another. But it's not one that I would be like, ooh, that was good. I'll get another one. Slide that off to the side. Bring some glasses out for bottle number 2. Bottle number 2 actually was a big surprise for me.
Familiar looking bottle?
Yeah, familiar looking bottle, but this is the 101. So the history on the Maker's Mark 101 is that apparently their distiller used to keep that. He used to keep a batch of 101 because you could only always get, what is it? It's always like 84, 86, something like that.
Yeah. Well, it was, the original one. And then it was 86 or 46.
Yeah.
46
no, 40. No, I meant the proof. Their
the
proof is always
like
84 for everything they released until they got to the private selects and went like heavier.
Well, once they sold everybody else.
Right. But he used to actually keep it at 101. And if you were a friend, he might share some with you.
Well, that was the same with, not Freddie, no, the senior. He used to have a batch. I think that's what the whole history was.
Oh, the old tub. Yeah.
That was his personal
That's what he would
batch,
give out
and
as
he would
gifts.
give out at the holidays.
So yeah, that's the history to this one. Is apparently the master distiller used to prefer it at 101, but you needed to know him.
Like most people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But you needed to kind of know him to get it. So then they decided to split it almost exactly in half, which is kind of funny. It was like 101 was exactly the middle of what normally their private select comes out at, and normally what their normal releases come in. It's like right in the middle. This is the one that I remember. I remember really enjoying this when I found out what it was.
For 100 proof, there's not much on the nose.
No.
Next to nothing.
Yeah, it's really light, sweet, which Maker's Mark is generally a pretty sweet bourbon because it's a wheater. So it's 60% corn, 26% red winter wheat, and then 14% malted barley. So there's no rye in this.
Yeah, that's way better than the Calumet. Again, it doesn't drink like 100.
No, I'm not getting any burn off of 100, 101.
More burn off of that.
Yeah. But I get a little bit of the cinnamon, which it's really weird. I don't understand why wheated bourbons always, a lot of times I end up getting a cinnamon note on that one. A little bit of cinnamon and some sweet, like vanillas, little cherry, nice oil, good
I got a
coating.
Like a real, I can't get the cherry off my tongue.
It's very coating.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coating to this guy.
Very reasonably priced.
Yeah, $40 for 101 proof bourbon. Not too shabby. And it's very different because, okay, so the only other 101 I can think of off the top of my head is Wild Turkey. Very different profile. Wild Turkey is way more aggressive. This is nothing like Wild Turkey. Sweetness on this.
This is way sweeter than Wild.
Yeah. The sweetness in this, it's not that, it's a wheater versus a rye based, Wild Turkey, there's a little burn in there. Like the ethanol, like you can feel the ethanol. This is the edges are rounded off. Like there's no sharpness anywhere in this guy. I think this is a really good bourbon. I like the fact that it's a higher proof because that was my biggest issue with Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark was my go-to when I was living in New Jersey. Always had Maker's Mark, usually the big bottle. But when I started drinking more whiskeys, the proof was a little like,
Maker's is always one of the, I like to occasionally have one neat or on the rocks. I know, I always enjoyed it more with ginger ale. That was never one that
could be good, with especially that cherry, the oiliness. Yeah, that could be good. This could definitely hold up as a mixture. I think this is a really easy drink. It's not quite going to hit crazy like the Private Select one, which they're pretty good too. But this, for $40 for 101 proof, pretty solid.
I really enjoy that finish.
Yeah, it's nice. It sits there.
Cinnamon, it's got a little bit of cinnamon spice, that sweetness of the cherry.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's pretty well rounded.
It's very well rounded, and there's no sharp edges anywhere. It's just kind of, just a nice little.
You expect either the burn in the front or the back, and you don't get it.
No, not getting that at all. Pretty solid. Really enjoy that guy. All the notes are very nice, very pleasant. All right, number 3 was, or the way order we're doing it, the new Riff. And this was a single barrel. Now, this is not that bottle, but we put in a substitute.
Yep.
So the bottle that they got was I don't remember if there was something special to it. I was trying to remember. I actually reached out to Adam, and he couldn't remember.
It should have a lot of it all. It's going to be different.
Right. There's different when they bottled, when they barreled, so what seasons it went through, things like that. New Riff came on the scene 5 years ago-ish, give or take. Somewhere's in that range.
Yeah.
They are just over the river from Cincinnati.
In Newport, Kentucky.
And
their thing, one of the largest aquifers.
Right, yeah, they have a huge aquifer right underneath the distillery. And the other thing that they do is I think almost everything that they bottle would qualify for bottled and bond. Like almost everything's at 4 years and all that kind of stuff. But this is bottled because it's a single barrel. It is bottled at too high of a proof to qualify. So their bottles range from about 110 to 115 proof. I don't know what we're drinking. And their bottles for single barrels are $50-$60 for the bourbons. It's $60-$65 for the ryes, things like that.
Everything I've had out of this place has been fantastic.
Very good. And they're now doing some more experimental things, and we unfortunately can't get them.
Well, I'm going back up next weekend.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So this is high rye bourbon, and they are known for that 65% corn, 30% rye. So they are known for their high rye, but it adds a nice spice to it's not overly aggressive. However they're distilling it. The nose is nice. It's light. There's a little bit of spice, touch of ethanol coming off, but it's not overpowering. But there's a vanilla note that's pretty nice.
You get the vanilla on the front on the first sip, but then it's just like that light rye spice. It just kind of sits on the back of your tongue.
That's exactly what it does. Very sugary sweet, like vanilla, like really sweet vanilla, like candy at the very front of the tongue. And then as it just goes over the back of the tongue, little bit of a rye spice kicks up. Again, not a burn.
No.
It's not sharp. And it's 110 to 115 proof.
It's just like a little ting.
But it's just like, you know, hey, we got a little spice here.
Ooh. Got a different nose now.
Yeah, the spice came up. We had to take a quick pause to change some batteries out, and the rye spice is much more apparent now.
Yeah, but now there's something else.
Got some vanillas,
Yeah,
really
it's kinda
strong.
Like I want to say butterscotch, but that's not right.
I can see a little like burnt sugars, which kind of goes towards a butterscotch. Toffee, something like that. Still drinks nice.
Yeah.
A little bit of rye spice. Touch of like a mint.
Yeah, there's
Almost
this
a dill?
This opened up.
Yeah, it changed a lot.
Just sitting there by itself for a couple of minutes, it opened up.
Yeah, it changed a lot.
It's not like that sweet.
Yeah, it's not the sweet
soft
with a little
rye,
bit of spice
soft
in the
rye.
back. There's now
More of a
mint and
Yeah,
dill
yeah.
are a little bit more apparent in that. Still not bad,
no.
just a very different
Yeah.
note
Just in a couple of minutes.
than when we first poured it. That's interesting. Anyway, all right, slide that off to the side. And then last, but not least, the Nulu Reserve. So this is the gray wax, silver wax, whatever you want to call it.
Gray.
Gray,
Because I think the silver one has a little more sparkle to it.
sparkly.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's their thing.
so Nulu, yeah, that's their thing. They like to color their different waxes depending on the type of either finish or bottle type of whiskey, whatever it is. This is sourced from Indiana, so it's MGP. But
We're making that assumption.
yes, I guess that's true. I don't know if they specifically say that it's MGP.
Does it say Lawrenceburg?
Prohibitions, MGP of Indiana.
Okay.
It's MGP.
Yep.
Well, that's great. I'm glad they don't try to hide it.
This is a Tennessee exclusive.
This is so they do a lot of their things in batches. This is the Tennessee, the second release for Tennessee. So it's TN2 is the batch. We've got, let's see, we've got 100, this is 113, and this reserve type will go anywhere from 100 to 120-ish range, because it is blended together.
Small batch of 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, right. So we got 4 to 6 year old whiskey. This is the low rye MGP, so the 21% rye, which is the exact same thing that Nashville Barrel Company.
Yep.
They use the low rye MGP as well. And honestly, they kind of go neck and neck with what they're putting out, like the quality, and they are both picking really good barrels of MGP.
But now you can go fill your own bottle.
Now-
right?
yes,
You can go
yeah.
to that one
Nashville,
room.
yeah. Nashville Barrel Company's doing some pretty cool stuff. It's nice nose. There's a little bit of a spice that comes through, but it's not very strong by any means. There's a sweet, more brown sugar than vanilla that kind of comes through.
That spice hits and just gone.
Okay.
But then it leaves an aftertaste, and I'm trying to figure out what the aftertaste is. It hits like right in the middle and is.
Wow, you know what that reminds me of? Sherry cask finished scotch.
Okay.
That kind of like grapey note to it, like right
Okay.
in the middle. That's kind of what that reminds me of. And I know they do some finishing, and that's not what this is, but that's kind of what it reminds me of, is when you get a scotch that's got that sherry cask, Oloroso kind of impact, it's got a little bit of that note. Weird. Wasn't expecting it, I guess, is really what it comes down to. Which is one of the things that I think also made trying to figure out which one was which hard. Because
I'd never had
that's
that.
I've never had that one. That has a unique flavor profile. And I would almost say with that grapey note, I was like, maybe, I don't remember what I picked, but I might lean towards the Maker's Mark with that. You know, like a fruity kind of note, which I know Maker's Mark is known for their fruit, cherry, usually cherry notes, but Yeah, that's weird. That's a funny one.
I finished off all my cherry brandy one.
Did you?
Yeah. The pink wax.
Ooh, a little aerating. And the fruit came way up. Not at all. I don't remember that. Not at all what I expected.
More fruit on the way back.
Yeah.
Way back.
It's funny. It's like there's a sweet in the very beginning, and all the like spice and a little bit of proof kind of hits, and then the very finish is very fruity.
I'm getting like some burnt sugars now.
But I'm not getting any of that on the nose.
No, but it cycled back to the front.
Yeah, I don't get any of that on the nose. I get a little bit of brown sugar and some rye spice, a little touch of ethanol.
I get some ethanol now.
But I'm not getting a fruity grape type note at all. But as soon as I drink it, that's exactly what I get. I'm even getting like a malt funk. That tastes more and more like a scotch every time I sip it. That is really odd to me. All right. We'll do the traditional rankings. I think we can all. I know what's in fourth place. That one's easy.
You just put that one down here.
So we're just gonna put this. This guy's just gonna sit down here and be all lonely, because that wasn't bad, but for the price and for the age,
Not worth it.
I expected more. That's what that comes down to. Well, oh, really? Weren't feeling the Nulu, huh?
It's okay.
But it's like
Yeah.
that. Distant fourth.
Yeah.
Distant
Yep.
fourth. These are all, I liked that, but it's
These
very
are like
weird.
2A and 2B.
Yeah, that one's, it's good, but it's weird. That one changed so much in the amount of time that we had to change some batteries that just struck me as funny. That just drinks so, it's just so nice to drink.
You
There's
could just sip on that all night long.
You really could. And I could see, with a small cube in that, like just being able to just go with that, and it would never bother you at all. Like that is a really easy drinker and a great proof at 101. Solid price.
Like it was an old fashioned because of that cherry you get.
The cherry already in there?
With
Yeah.
muddle some oranges and add another cherry to it. Ooh,
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, definitely nothing wrong with that. It was good meeting. Quality, pretty good quality of the whiskeys. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible.
Oh, we'll get to the one that was.
Yeah, the next one that we're going to do, apparently, and that's one I did not make it to that meeting because I had COVID at the time. But
You're in for a treat, buddy.
I heard that it was not the best lineup of whiskeys. So that'll be a fun one when we cross that bridge.
Even the guy that came up with the theme, I think not vouch, but he's like, I think we should get these four. He couldn't come because he had COVID as well.
Right.
And I dropped samples off in his mailbox for him, and he still doesn't drink them.
No, but yeah, I'm not exactly looking forward to that one, but got to try it, right? That's the whole point. We got to try
That's
it.
the point of this show.
Point of the show, point of the club, and we will.
They're not all going to be good.
We will steer you clear of those when we do that show.
I think the drinker that night was the favorite.
What was the drinker?
Breckenridge.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah.
That nose is now, I'm starting to get a little bit more of the fruit, but it's still very burnt brown sugar.
Burnt, yeah.
Burnt brown sugar.
Yep.
That is a weird little bottle right there. It's got some
But they've
funkiness.
got some great stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of their things are very, very good. They're double, I think it's a double
When
oat.
it comes out though, it's a limited release down here. The couple liquor stores that get it, they only get maybe
A handful
case.
of bottles. Probably, yeah.
So once you see it hit their social media,
you got to go.
you got to go.
Another Whiskey Club meeting in the books. This is our last Whiskey Club meeting of 2021, so our next episode will actually be from a meeting from this year.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed our review of these four. Again, first through fourth. This was pretty solid. This one, it's off on its own.
I'd steer clear of that guy.
But it's going to cater to someone else's palate.
Yeah.
Not ours.
No.
So, well, we hope you enjoyed this review of our last Whiskey Club meeting of last year, 2021. If you did, we'd encourage you to hit that like button at the bottom of the screen.
And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We put out an episode, not always 4 bottles, but same idea where we're going to talk about whiskeys that we've never tried or we're recirculating and we only really tried once. So subscribe. You'll get more episodes just like this.
Help us grow the channel, spread the word.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching.
See you on next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.